All right, we're back with another episode of the Commerce Corner and have the pleasure today of speaking with our head of customer success, Graham McAden. Graham, why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me here. So I lead customer success for Lula Commerce. We focus on onboarding, support, and of course, account management, providing detailed and very robust managed services to our existing customers. My background is pretty deep in the delivery business. I ran a restaurant concept in Santa Monica, California, for about 5 years. And then about a year before the pandemic, I started working for a large ghost kitchen concern that was focused primarily on delivery. So did that for several years, worked in some other restaurant tech, and then about 2 years ago came on to Lula, and very excited to be here working with our very valued and very dynamic C-store partners.
That's awesome. And our customers are lucky definitely to have the level of experience that you've got in the space. And I definitely want to dive into that a little bit because on the sales side, and I end up talking to a number of our both existing customers through our Commerce Corner here and also to new customers that we're bringing on board, new retail partners. And, managed services is an incredible topic. It's a big topic. It's a broad topic. And you know more than anybody that. So why don't you give us an overview of maybe make it hit home some of the things people don't think about when they get into the delivery game, or maybe they've been in for a little bit and they're realizing there's more to it and maybe we can help.
Yeah, and I can say from personal experience that it feels like fairly straightforward, right? It feels like, hey, I'll just go on the DoorDash website, I'll fill out a form, I'll send them my menu, and next thing I know, I'll be printing money. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's a lot more complicated than that. And there are many things that come up during that journey where there's just some friction. And the more stores you have, the more friction there is. So the more we can reduce that, the better. And the way I like to think about it is really the customer journey. And the first part of that, when someone enrolls with Uber Eats, DoorDash, or Grubhub, is, well, how do you get thousands of SKUs uploaded to those platforms? If you're doing it on your own, you've got to go to each platform individually, and then that's okay. But if you've got 10,000 or 20,000 SKUs in your store, how do you offer the 4 or 5,000 max that are allowed on those platforms? So you can't just have your 30,000 or 20,000 SKUs on DoorDash. You've got to pare that down. What really makes sense to have on the platform? Do you need 50 ice cream SKUs? Do you need 100? How many beer SKUs? How many sodas? So we help with that. But then the other step is it's not just the SKUs, but what images are you using? Where is that being pulled from? And what I've seen previously in my restaurant world was even getting menu photos for rigatoni or for calamari. Where do those photos come from? And in theory, you'd think, oh, I'll just pull a photo of Coca-Cola. It's not that easy. There's so many different SKUs, and you think of just Coca-Cola. Where do you get all those photos? And so Lula helps with that. We've got not just the expertise on which SKUs that you want to be offering and how many SKUs you want per category, but we've got the detailed item description. We've got the detailed images that make sure that when customers are seeing your storefront on Uber Eats, DoorDash, or Grubhub, it really shines. Every photo looks great. It's very appetizing, and customers are much more excited to join. And then the other part of that is, when you think about branding and how important that is and how hard our customers work to get their brand equity and earn that brand equity, sometimes over many decades. Well, how is that represented on the storefront? So one is what I mentioned, just having great photos, consistency, everything that makes your products really, really shine and the categories make sense. But then the devil in the details is each one of those delivery service providers or DSPs, Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, each one of them have different criteria for their storefront banner, their logo. What we do at Lula is we actually take someone's logo, we take their brand colors, we create custom storefront header images and banner display images so that the brand that people are used to seeing in the store that's represented vividly and very accurately online. So those are just two examples of the many different things that you have to do when you're starting to get your stores online, and we handle that for folks.
And after you get through those hours of work, right? Those hours and hours of lift, now you're live, and the real work begins, right? So it's not just about build it and they will come, as I like to say. It's more about
Yeah.
now how do you drive success online? So maybe talk a little bit about some of the key points that surprise, but also we have the opportunity to delight our customers in driving that success.
Oh, fantastic. It all starts with the store personnel and their comfort with our technology. We do a phenomenal job of providing not just digital training tools, basically videos that allow any CSR, a manager, or even a cashier to on demand watch a 3 or 4 minute video and get very familiar with how to use Lula, right? Customers or end users, there's studies that show that the more comfortable they are, the more likely they are to use and engage it. We get people very, very comfortable with training. We also have printed out quick guides, right, that sit there right at the cashier to remind them that the 3 or 4 steps to receive an order. So very, very easy there. So if you've got people trained, right, now you're off to the races, because now you've got a team that's very excited about a new revenue channel. They know this is important. They themselves have probably placed a lot of orders. They're excited to be able to order from the store that they work for. And then a couple of things come in there. We want to provide very, very actionable reporting that allows stores to get the most out of their operations. And you say, well, what does that mean? And there are a couple of things that means. One is just simple uptime. It sounds really easy, but if you're a convenience store and you're open 24/7, every day, every week, you're open 24 hours a day, but your delivery is not available 24/7, you're losing money, right? Every minute that your storefront is off and you're not offering delivery, that's a missed opportunity possibly. So we work very closely with our store partners. And this is not something where we work at the corporate level and we just talk to one corporate contact and we hope they push it down. We will get our hands dirty. We will develop relationships with the store managers, assistant store managers, whoever the stakeholders of the store, and we will have detailed conversations with them at their convenience around what does their uptime look like. Like, hey, we noticed that your tablet is being shut off between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Fridays. Oh, that's when we're a little short staffed right now. What can we do around that? Okay, no problem. When you get restaffed, we'll get you back online. Or between midnight and 6 a.m., a prime time for delivery hours, we're seeing this tablet go off. Oh, that's my third shift. They're great people, but they're slow to adapt technology. We'll get with those guys. So we make sure that delivery is available as much as possible. And then the next thing is, of all those orders coming through, the goal, right, if you get 100 orders a week, you want to fulfill every one of those orders. Now, when someone walks through the door and is looking to order and just in person, clearly you're going to capture that sale. And delivery, it's different. The order could come through. The store team member needs to make sure to fulfill the order correctly and get every item in there. And so what we do is we work with the store team, what we call completion rate. And the goal is to get people to about 98% completion rate to make sure that if there's 100 orders coming in, 98 orders are going out. You're going to have a couple of, 1 or 2 orders that just can't be fulfilled for some reason. That's just probability. But we work with the store team members to make sure that they're not denying orders because an item's out of stock. They can call the customer. They can substitute an order, and also there's not missing orders. That's a real shame when a customer has placed an order and the store personnel just don't see the order. We work with them, we coach them, and most customers start at 80-85% completion rate, and within the first 4 to 6 months, our goal is to get them more to about 98%, so that every dollar that's coming in is captured.
One of the things a lot of people find surprising, perhaps, is that the delivery service providers, we think of these in our industry, we think of, well, these are our customers. They just happen to be ordering through Uber Eats. But the delivery service providers have quite a different point of view, right? I mean, they view these as, these are our customers. We're spending money to drive app downloads. We're spending money to get them to place an order. And then we're delivering it with our drivers. You're just providing the goods on our marketplace. With that point of view comes some different expectations. Otherwise, you might fall or rise in kind of the visibility. So, talk a little bit about how we bring that to the attention of our stores and how Lula stores experience greater success as we help them focus on that operational rigor.
Absolutely. So we have a robust but very accessible analytics package. It's available on someone's desktop. It's available on the Lula tablet. And what we do, as I mentioned before, is actionable insights. That's what we want to provide. We don't just want to provide a mess of data, some PDFs and pie charts that look good in a presentation but aren't really actionable. What we do is we actually drill in, and a great example is our time of day report, day part report, where we will break down and we will say between these hours and these hours, this is what your completion rate is. This is when you're having denied orders. This is when you're having missed orders. And what it allows our partners on the retail level to do is look and say, wow, that one shift, these guys are crushing it. How do we implement all of the success that the noon to 6 p.m. shift they're having? How do we replicate that across our other shifts? And what we're able to do is drive up again that completion rate and that accuracy rate, so that Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub, what they're seeing with our retailers is, wow, these guys are exceeding convenience store benchmarks. So when Uber Eats, Grubhub, or DoorDash are looking to run a new promotion, or they're looking to promote a store, they'll either do this manually. Their account manager will reach out and say, hey, we've got this great pilot for a new promo. Can we use a Lula partner? And we say, of course, we'd love to have our partners on the cutting edge. But more importantly, we've all heard about these algorithms in the delivery space. And there's a lot of not confusion around it, a lot of mystery there on what drives a storefront to appear higher than another storefront. And although each delivery service provider guards that very, very jealously, really what it boils down to is your selection. Do you have great selection? Do you have the right SKUs? Are people, logging into your storefront? Are they completing a sale because they see the SKUs? Are these orders being completed? And then the last piece is order accuracy, right? It's one thing to get an order out the door, but if you just get it out the door, but someone wanted a cherry Coke and not a Coca-Cola, and they wanted Flaming Hot Cheetos, not Cheetos. Now, if that person gets a Coca-Cola and Cheetos, they're going to be very unhappy. Now, the order arrived, but they're going to be very unhappy. So we get our merchants up to about a 99.5% accuracy rate. There's some checks and balances we have. We do some in-store teaching, but it's very important to make sure that it's accurate. And what the virtual cycle that happens then is people then get give high ratings to the store. And once again, in that algorithm, the higher the store rating, the more likely we are to appear in a search. And so that's how we really help our stores, is making sure that our delivery partners are thrilled to have Lula stores on their site, because they know that what they view as their customers, that those people are very happy with the service they're provided by the Lula retailers.
Yeah, and the delivery service providers that we end up in great relationships with, we're very thankful for our partners. They will share with us, kind of the secrets, right? The behind the curtains, like, here's the benchmarks, here's where you want to be, here's what some of our customers are doing, and then we in turn, can share that experience across the board with ours. I feel like we're giving away a little bit of the keys of the kingdom here, but it's what we do. So what do our retailers, how do they interact with you and your team? What does that look like? And I know there's some variation. So
Yeah.
maybe
No,
talk a little
great.
bit about once they're on board, once you're up and running. I mean, obviously there's the onboarding part, right? There's a lot of work to do to get them up and running, and, account managers do a lot of hand holding and help and heavy lift there. But what does ongoing look like, and what are the range of things our retailers see and experience?
Cool. And one thing I want to stress is that onboarding process. The way I like to put it is there's no homework before a meeting or after a meeting for our retailer. We're doing all the heavy lifting for them. We really like to put them in the position of their project managers, and we are fulfilling all the tasks, and we're just reporting in on progress. So what we do is we have progress meetings before people go live. to report on exactly where they are in the onboarding process. If there's any blockers, we need more information. But we lead those meetings. We prepare the meeting notes. We prepare Gantt charts. We prepare timelines. All our customers need to do is show up, answer questions, give us feedback, and then we take it from there. So that's before people launch. And then, to get to your question, what happens after launch? There's a little bit of a lull. The first 4 weeks or 6 weeks behind the scenes, we are monitoring storefronts. We're making sure that storefronts are live. We're making sure that all the items are available. With a lot of the delivery service providers, offering alcohol can be a little bit tricky. They've got different rules there that sometimes alcohol gets deactivated. So we make sure it's accurate. It's activated in the stores that should be. If you're offering hot food, we're making sure the hours are correct. So all behind the scenes, we're monitoring things. But what we're really doing is giving about a 4 to 6 week break while we're gathering data and we're learning about the stores, learning about performance, and then we start meeting on a more regular basis. And we'll meet with our retailers as needed. We'll meet with people sometimes weekly if there's a lot of activity on their account. A lot of times it really is more monthly. And when we meet with folks, it'll be anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes. Again, we prepare the agenda, we do all the work. And what we're trying to do at that point is give them a very clear picture on how they're doing relative to other comparable companies that we work with, but also where are the areas that we can partner to improve. And again, in that first launch period, the first maybe 3 months, we're working on operational efficiency. Down the road, we'll have more sophisticated conversations on, hey, it's summer, let's run a summer promotion. Let's have the top section on Uber Eats just say summer promotion. What are some products we should offer there? What are some LTO, some limited time offers we should offer? Are there new hot food that are coming online that we should be offering? So we try to have a great mix of tactical discussion on how you can succeed tactically, but then migrate to more strategic discussions and make sure that our folks are really on trend and they're leading the way on convenience online.
Awesome. Well, listen, I know we could talk for hours and hours, but I wanted to give our current and future retailers a little bit of a behind the scenes view of Graham and his team. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
No, great to be here. The folks we work with, I guess the last thing I'll say is that our company ethos is really to put ourselves in the shoes of the retailer. So when we're managing somebody's business and working with them, we really take it personally. We want to make sure that there's tremendous success for the retailer. And part of that is our founder, as some people may know, our founder, comes from a family who owned a convenience store. So, I operated a restaurant. We really look at it from the operator point of view. And I think that gives us a real edge on making sure that not only are we looking for basic metrics to be okay, we really want the end customer experience, that the person walking the store, the person who is receiving the delivery, we want them to be thrilled and have a great experience for the brand.
Awesome. And the proof is in the pudding, as they say. If you want to learn more, you can see other episodes of the Commerce Corner on our channel. Check us out at lulacommerce.com. We've had some wonderful customers say some nice things and talk about their experience with Lula and Lula's managed services, especially with Graham and his team. Graham, thanks so much to you and your team for all you do for our customers. If you'd like to learn more about Lula Commerce and what we can do to help you in your digital commerce business, please check us out at lulacommerce.com. Reach us there, and we'll look forward to getting in touch. That's it for another episode of the Commerce Corner. We look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks.